Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. I am visiting with Gary Schnell, and you are the owner of Economy Oil right here in Oaks, North Dakota?
That is correct. Yes, we do petroleum business.
Wonderful. And how long have you been around?
Well, I came back to Oaks in 1975, and I've been here ever since. My father started it in 1949.
Wonderful. So I came to Oaks a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
and I was looking for historical information, and everybody said, well, you've got to go to the museum and you've got to talk to Gary Schnell. He's a historian around town here.
That's because I'm so old.
So why don't you just kind of tell us a little bit about how Oaks got started?
Well, Oaks started as a town in September 1st of 1886. It was a stagecoach stop from the stagecoach line from Jamestown, North Dakota to Columbia, South Dakota.
And how far is Columbia from here?
Oh, probably 60 miles, maybe not quite. But there's a historical marker up north of Oaks, 3 miles on the hill where the stagecoach stop was. And it materialized from there. After the stagecoaches, the railroads came in.
Okay.
And we're very fortunate in Oaks to have two rail services in Oaks, the Northern Pacific and the Canadian Pacific and the Burlington Northern.
So are they on two different rails?
Two different lines coming into Oaks, which is very positive for economic development here.
And I think years ago, weren't there 3 rail lines historically?
It was called the Northern, and that's when it started. And then Oaks got its name from when the North American, the Northern Pacific Railway came to town. And it was named after the vice president of that line, Thomas Oakes. So that's how Oaks got its name.
Oh, that's interesting.
A lot of people think it's from the oak trees, but it's Thomas Oakes.
And it's Oakes. So
That's correct.
A little bit different.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So then let's move on from there. So it became a railroad town. What kind of people kind of flowed through here?
Well, fur traders, a lot of them. Early times were here, but basically agriculture, and it stems from agriculture, which we still are strong in today. And the rail systems have helped that. We have 210 car loading facilities here in Oaks, which is kind of unheard of, but they both are surviving very well.
Oh, good. And did you guys have trouble when we had so much of the Bakken oil on the rail lines? Did you have cars backed up?
No, we did not have any problems there like Castleton did, but
I see.
But Bakken is a very strong part of North Dakota.
Indeed.
It was anyway. Hopefully it still is.
It will. It sure will.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then tell us a little bit about the Noonan House.
Okay. The Noonan House is a historical house here in town. It was built by W.T. Newman. Back in the 20s maybe, or the 1900s, W.T. Newman moved to Oaks and purchased the creamery we had here. And he expanded it, and it was doing very well, one of the largest employers in Oaks at that time. They had cheese, milk, a lot of butter, eggs was another big one that they shipped out of here by rail. And then he was very wealthy, and he did a lot of traveling, did cruises, but he built this huge house, 29 rooms, and it was the nicest house maybe in North Dakota, or one of them. And so the Noonan House has gone through a number of different phases. In 1930, he decided to sell the house. And so the Sisters of St. Benedict out of Canada purchased this house. And they decided to make it into a hospital. So we had a Sisters of St. Benedict hospital in Oaks in 1930. And it served us well. until about 1956, I think it was. A lot of regulations came out, and it had no elevator. It was 3-level
Oh dear.
house, and so they had to build a new hospital. So in 1956, we built a new hospital here in Oaks, and then in 2010, we built another new hospital.
Oh my
And
goodness.
this is a CHI hospital, Catholic Health Initiatives. So we've had a Catholic Health hospital here since 1930.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Almost 100 years. So we just have a little bit of time left.
Okay.
What else, historically speaking, has happened here in Oaks?
Well, there's a lot of things. The Grand Theater here in Oaks was built in approximately, I'm not sure, but 1918. And it is the second longest continuously running theater in North Dakota, and I think, the United States. And the first one is our neighbor, Lisbon, the Scenic. Ours is called the Grand Theater, and Lisbon's is called the Scenic.
So that's interesting to have two records as far as these theaters right here in North Dakota.
Yep. Oaks was closed down for about a year. And it's been updated, ADA approved, and we also have digital projectors
Wonderful.
and everything like that.
Thank you, Gary. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing some of that history right here about Oaks, North Dakota.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
It was
We'll
a
be
pleasure.
right back after this on
Okay.
Ladies of Another View on Back.
My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by First Community Credit Union, JQ Clothing and Computer Express, Oaks Thrift and more.
Every farm is unique, but all farmers have something in common: the desire to maximize their land and improve it for the next generation. You need a cooperative that offers peace of mind. AgTegra Cooperative is an ag partner that shares your values and is part of your community. From agronomy and grain operations to energy and feed, AgTegra will link your farm to the future. AgTegra Cooperative. Strong, stable, dependable.
My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Praska Hardware Hank, James Valley Grain LLC, Oaks Truck and Trailer Center LLC.
Hi, I'm Kirsty Hintz. I'm an RN at Bismarck Burley Public Health, and I'm a local coordinator for the Women's Way program of North Dakota. Women's Way is a program that offers breast and cervical cancer screenings to eligible women in North Dakota. I love that I get to help women every day and really make it easy for them to get these screenings that really could save their lives. Getting screened is a great way for you to take care of yourself and be there for your family and those you love.
My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Tara's Thrifty White Drug, Scoops Liquor, Domini Sales and Service. My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Moving Mountains Learning Center, Women's Way, Starion Bank of Oaks. My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by DRN ReadyTech, Novak Electric Incorporated, Economy Oil Incorporated.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. I have the privilege of sitting with Lane Bredesen. Welcome to the show, Lane.
Thank you for having me.
Great. You know, I met Lane. I stopped by the museum. It's kind of funny how this all came together. I showed up on a Wednesday and the chamber lady said, hey, our museum is open today. So I go to the museum and here is Lane, one of the youngest historians that I've come across in some of these hometown shows. Lane, welcome to the show. Just tell us a little bit about some of the historical figures or facts that come out of Oaks, North Dakota.
Well, one thing that I think of right away is most people don't know that in 1902, Calamity Jane made a quick stop on a Wednesday night here in Oaks on her way to Jamestown from Aberdeen, which is just about an hour and 15 minutes south of here. She stopped at the depot before coming uptown, but she couldn't find anyone that would serve her.
Why would that be?
Yeah. Well, she was kind of a rough lady. I don't know that much about her, but I know that she was a rough and tumble kind of person. So she had actually had a great time in Aberdeen the night before, and no one here could get an interview. All she could find was one cigar to smoke.
Oh my goodness.
So that's kind of interesting about Oaks.
It is. Then how long did she stay?
Just one night. She was here for one day, and then she went up to Jamestown.
And so how did we find out about that? How did we know that Calamity Jane actually stayed here?
Well, I actually found it in our newspapers that we've been digitizing. She was here in 1902, and it was on the front page in that newspaper. So
that's wonderful. And then she had also, it was in someone's diary the way I had read it, and they said that she came and she wanted to purchase things, but no one would
serve her. They didn't want anything to do with her. I don't know why.
Isn't that interesting? I suppose back in the day, you know, with women's rights, etc., it wasn't as prominent for women to be going into saloons and that type of thing too. That Western history was a little bit different, but yeah, she was known quite well down in the Deadwood area. Interesting. So if she would have been more welcomed right here in Oaks, you might have a little Deadwood on hand.
I know, that would be something, wouldn't it?
It would. And so there's also, you had talked about the Creamery right here in town. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the Creamery is located on the south end of town. Currently it's used as apartments and living quarters for seasonal workers of one of our local farmers. But during its time in Oaks, it was the largest employer. And we think about, a lot of the businesses in town here that are employers. I would say that it's on par with those employers. And when I think of a creamery, I think of, butter and cheese and milk and dairy and of course ice cream. But they also had pop. They bottled soda pop, cola, lemon lime soda, and they, for a while, were doing near beer. And then eventually they did get a contract with Schmidt Beer. And then they used that as a way to help fund the operation during some of the drier years, like in the 30s, when cream wasn't as popular and prevalent.
Wonderful. All right. And so that was Mr. Noonan that had that creamery, wasn't it?
Yes. Yep. It was Walter T. Noonan.
Wonderful. And then so is there anything else that stands out in your mind? I mean, we talked for hours over there. Anything else you want to share real quickly?
Well, I guess I was a little nervous about coming on here, but Mary Ann Coonrath, she's our president. She has always told me, you can do anything you put your mind to. So she said, you're going to do this and it's going to be great and you're going to have fun.
And you're so lively. Like I said, we sat over there for a couple of hours and you're just so entertaining as well. And it's just nice. What drives you for the history, for knowing history?
Well, I really think it's important that we're preserving our local history, talking to our older people, digitizing the newspapers. That's something we're working on, where we're scanning them so that we can preserve them for future generations that might want to go back and look and see what was going on in the area.
Sure. And why don't you quickly tell us a little bit about the museum that you have in town?
So we are a nonprofit museum. We are volunteer run. And our biggest fundraiser that we do during the year is walking tacos in August.
And so explain that. That's once a week, isn't it?
Once a week, every Wednesday, for the Wednesdays in August, we sell walking tacos in front of our museum, and it's been a really great fundraiser for us.
And I can't remember, but how many do you usually sell in a day?
This year it was exceptionally busy, and we were doing over 100 in 3 hours.
Great. So do people come from all over the area to get your walking tacos at the museum?
Well, we had several deliveries this year. We went out to the hospital and our local nursing home employees wanted them. So we've had people from all around.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for joining us here today, Lane. It's very interesting. And so if anybody wants to come to the museum, what day should they show up?
Wednesday is great. There's normally someone there on Wednesday.
Okay. And in the summer, is it open a little bit more?
Yep, we're there. Right now, I think we're planning on being there Wednesday all day and Thursday afternoon for sure.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks again, Lane. We appreciate it. Now, back to you. We'll be right back after this on Ladies of Another View on Back. Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We are still in Oaks, and it's amazing because there's so much historical information. And right now I'm visiting with Richard Killinan, or Dick Killinan. Welcome to the show, Dick.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you came on. You're another one of the gentlemen that I met over at the Dickey County Historical Society. So tell me a little bit about the museum, just very quickly, so we can save time for all the historical information.
Oh, there's so much in the museum, it's difficult to say it in half an hour.
All right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the stagecoaches that went through the area?
Well, as Gary mentioned earlier, it started between Columbia, South Dakota, and Jamestown, North Dakota. It took 2 days to make the trip. So here in Oaks, there was a relay station where people could spend the night. They changed horses there. Still exists today a 16-horse barn in the side of the hill. The building itself was the house was destroyed by fire several years ago. The stagecoach, in order to find it at night, there was a tall pole outside of the building, and they hoisted a lantern up to the top of the pole so that in bad weather or at night, the stagecoach was able to find the relay station.
Interesting. So in that house, did the guests actually stay overnight in the house?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the two fellows that ran the stagecoach line, one of them was a driver, and the other one took care of the building where they fed the people and took care of the horses.
Interesting. And so you can't help but notice when you drive into Oaks that there's a fighter jet out by the airport. Tell me about that.
Well, it's an F-100 Super Sabre that a pilot here, Arnie Wiedmer, I don't know where he got it, but it came into Oaks on flatbed trailers in pieces. And then they took it out there and they rebuilt it, put it together. And it's my understanding the fellow that flew that plane in Vietnam was a captain that lives in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Supposedly, I haven't been able to find them, but there are holes for bullets where the plane encountered, I guess, a MiG-15 in Vietnam, and it was flown there by this pilot.
Interesting. So now I understand that you have a couple famous people from the area. Do you want to tell us about them?
Well, one of them is a former Buffalo Bill running back, Phil Hansen. An interesting story there. When I worked for a local implement dealership, Phil and one of his brothers would come in. They were probably, about so tall, in their little bib overalls, barefooted, and ran all around out there in the backyard where the machinery was. And little did I know that this little guy was going to be one heck of a big man and going to play professional football. I wish they could have won a Super Bowl so I could have gotten a good look at a Super Bowl ring.
Oh, wow. Well, that's interesting. So how long did he play for them?
Well, as far as I know, probably 7-8 years. He retired.
Great.
And he's a color commentator now for the Bison in Fargo.
Okay. And so then you also have another gentleman by the name of Bill Potassi.
Bill had the ability to build things, and he built an exact duplicate model of Einstein's original phonograph. As Gary mentioned earlier when we were talking, the Smithsonian Institute allowed him to disassemble the thing all the way down measure all the parts, and then he built an exact duplicate of it, and it's in the Smithsonian now. And as Gary mentioned, it's stamped on the bottom that it is a reproduction.
Oh.
And when they took a picture with him, he was dressed like Edison, and is pretty much, you couldn't hardly tell the difference between him and Edison, and this phonograph would sit there in front of him.
Great. And so, Dick, if you had just one thing, why would you encourage people to come to Oaks?
Well, there's just lots of opportunity here. We've got manufacturing up north, and we've got custom machine, and we've got engine rebuilders. Engine rebuilders is my understanding when the, and I forget which company it was, basically went out of business, they bought all of their old parts and they rebuild engines for bobcats and snow blowers and whatnot.
Great. All right. And so while they're here, they should also stop in and visit the Dickey County Historical Society, correct?
All right.
Amen.
And I might mention in passing that if it weren't for Mary Ann and Lane Bredesen, we probably wouldn't have a society, because those two are very, very, very hard workers.
And very passionate,
And
I must
yes.
say, very passionate. Okay, well, we want to thank you for being on the show today. And come on out to Oaks. We'll be right back after this on Ladies of Another View on Back.
My hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by CHI Oaks Hospital and Clinic, Integra Co-op of Oaks, Oaks Area Chamber of Commerce. The mission: to provide the customers with integrity, reliable grain markets and services while maintaining a profitable and innovative company. The vision: strive every day to be the best grain handling facility with the most courteous and accurate staff with unmatched customer service. Located in Oaks, North Dakota, James Valley Grain LLC is a grain storage and handling facility that has been serving Southeast North Dakota since 2001. See the James Valley Grain difference today. My hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Quilt and Sew, Sweeten Stories, Emery Vistos Implements,
For women who give their all for others every day, it's easy for self-care to get lost in the shuffle. Regular breast cancer screenings save lives. Take care of your loved ones by taking care of your health. Talk to your healthcare provider about a breast cancer screening today.
My hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Heritage Insurance Services Bill Schmitz, Farmers Union Insurance David Bergerman, Oaks Area Chamber of Commerce. My hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Columbia Grain, Dickey County Historical Society, Oaks Family Pharmacy. My hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Sunby Family Chiropractic, Seasons of Style, Back to Health PC, Sozo Physical Therapy PC, True Wellness FNP-C.
Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Back. We are in Oaks, North Dakota. So excited to be here. I'm visiting with Rebecca Undum. right here in Oaks, and you are the executive director of Growing Small Towns. Welcome to the show, first of all, Rebecca.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. You know, we're so excited to be here. I drove into town, and this town is phenomenal. I'm just going to put that out there. If you've never been to Oaks, you need to be here, and Rebecca's going to tell us why. First of all, you have this concept about growing small towns. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Growing Small Towns is a 501c3. We're sitting in the facility that we operate from right on Main Street in Oaks, and the idea was to create a space where people that have ideas could come and pitch them, basically, and to have a place where their ideas can launch, businesses can launch. You know, selfishly, some of this space was built for what I hoped our community could provide. So it's co-working. There's co-working spots in this space. And then as a speaker, I speak all over, and I wanted to have a well-equipped event facility as well. So when you walk in, you can plug and play, and there's good audio, and there's good visual, all the tech works. So that's what we did in this space, and we focus on three main things for programming. One is to help businesses either launch or expand. The second is really a focus on art and culture, and then the third is a focus on people. I think our best asset, you know, the reason this town is so phenomenal is because awesome people chose to start it. I mean, we got to look way all the way back, and you're going to hear some cool stories about who we were at the beginning, right? But those are the people, the pioneer people, innovative people landed here, chose to come here, chose to things. And I think we just continue to attract those people back.
So what gave you the idea to do something right here in Oaks?
Well, you know, the truth is we farm. So my family, we're now the 5th generation of my family to farm our land. So we're not going anywhere. You know, so at some point I think everyone has to make that choice, like what kind of community do you want to live in? And so these were things I wanted to see happen for our community, and I couldn't wait around for somebody else to do it for me. So that's really what it is. It's making this place the place I want to live, and I want to attract other people to, invite people to. And it always was that. It's not like we were lacking anything in particular. It's just this is my way of contributing to what I want us to be. Yeah.
And this is a great building. This is an old Penny's building. So if anyone has been in a Penny's building in the, say, 50s and 60s,
right. Yeah.
It's got the main floor and then the upper.
Yep.
It's amazing. So there's all kinds of space here. But so how were you received? Like as far as bringing this business to the community? So
truly overwhelmingly positive. I think a lot of it though was a lot of skepticism. We'll call it that. Just you know, people look at you, and I'm fairly enthusiastic. So sometimes people are just like, oh, and there she is with her ideas, and I get that. And so I think some of it was just a lot of times I think people need you to have to prove it to people, and not with that kind of negative energy like I'm going to show you. I don't mean that. I just mean I was bringing ideas to town that some people had never even heard of. There weren't a lot of people that were familiar with co-working, you know, so I had to dial some of that back and be patient and just recognize that not everyone's going to get it, and that's okay. The people that do get it, though, have just been the best champions and supporters of what we're trying to build here. So overall, it's been really good.
Great. And so who can use your facilities?
Well, anybody. The only thing we don't host here is weddings, which is everyone's very sad about that. But this was designed for anything that helps people grow themselves. So it could be business meetings. Clearly, we've got some designated spaces in the building for that. But we have art shows that we host here. Just about anything you can conceive of. If people want to host it here, I certainly want them to come and talk to us.
Right, and I noticed downstairs that you have almost like, I don't want to call it a kitchen because it's not, but you have counter space where you can bring food in.
Right, or use our awesome providers that cater.
Right,
yeah.
Like here in town. And then you also have like little booths for eating within, like during the meetings and whatnot, if something is catered in. But you also have little breakout rooms where if a person needs to get into a pod and do some kind of brainstorming.
Yep, and the huddle rooms, so those are the huddle rooms, and those go with Flex co-working memberships because it is a fairly open concept space. So if you had a co-working membership and you didn't want to be out in the open and you needed to be on a Zoom call, you just pop into one of the huddle rooms.
So talk about that. What is a co-member sponsorship?
So co-working just simply means that, so for everybody now that was working at home, especially during the pandemic, now they could work here instead. So it's well equipped, right? It's got printing services, we've got great internet, you can host people here, that kind of thing. But also you're just not alone, which is the value of co-working. So there's two options that are flex-based, just meaning you could sit anywhere in the building, basically. And then the other is a dedicated desk where you would be able to leave your things.
Sure. And we don't have a lot of time left, but if someone else had an idea like this, what would you tell them? What kind of advice would you give them?
Honestly, I kind of alluded to it earlier, but if you really want to see something happen in your community and you keep saying it, don't expect someone else to either do it for you or shepherd your idea forward. If it's your idea and it's your passion, just find a way to start. And I think for me, once I started telling people, the right people come along, but you've really got to talk about it a lot. It takes a lot of effort, but it's totally worthwhile.
Great. Well, Rebecca, I really appreciate you sharing that. And again, I can't say enough about Oaks. Number one, you had three of you came together. It was the Oaks Area Chamber of Commerce, the Oaks Enhancement Incorporated, and the City of Oaks did the main sponsorship, and we appreciate that. And it just shows how much they want their community to grow and succeed. And I've seen that with our sponsorships sold out in Oaks, and it's the first time. So I just want to give kudos to Oaks. All kinds of fun things, entertaining. You guys have everything right here on Main Street.
Yeah, and I honestly think that's because we are geographically positioned well to have all of that.
Great. All right, I want to thank you again, and coming up after this, we're going to learn a little bit more about Oaks. That's right after this on Ladies of Another View on Back.
My hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Tara's Thrifty White Drug, Scoops Liquor, Domini Sales and Service.
With so many fun holiday moments to share with family and friends, there's no time for slow internet or lagging Wi-Fi. So give your gang what they really want this year: faster internet and ultimate Wi-Fi from DRN ReadyTech. With speeds like these and no dead zones, you'll be ready to share all the holiday fun. Call or visit DRN ReadyTech online to upgrade your internet and get ultimate Wi-Fi for the holidays.
My hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Praska Hardware Hank, James Valley Grain LLC, Oaks Truck and Trailer Center LLC. The mission: to provide the customers with integrity, reliable grain markets and services while maintaining a profitable and innovative company. The vision: strive every day to be the best grain handling facility with the most courteous and accurate staff with unmatched customer service. Located in Oaks, North Dakota, James Valley Grain LLC is a grain storage and handling facility that has been serving Southeast North Dakota since 2001. See the James Valley Grain difference today.
Information technology can make or break your business. That's why ReadyTech is here to protect and enhance your business. We deliver competitive advantage and 24/7 peace of mind through an array of customizable services, including network management, data security, backup, recovery, and more from our certified IT staff. Contact ReadyTech for a free network assessment today. Let's make IT work for you.
My hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Columbia Grain, Dickey County Historical Society, Oaks Family Pharmacy,
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. I'm visiting with Dan Spellerberg. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So you are with the Southeast Region Career and Technology Center.
It's a mouthful.
It is. You know, it was so interesting when I made the initial call down here and they told me about this trade school. I was just surprised by everything that is involved. Why don't you tell us about the school?
So the center, it is really more than just in Oaks, but we are one of the hub stations here of our, I'll say, larger picture. But the center as a whole has 1,700 students. We have roughly 34 full-time employees, and we teach really career and technical education classes for Southeast North Dakota.
And so you have how many schools that come to this center?
So the center here in Oaks, we have 4 schools that make up the school membership here. We have Ellendale, Sargent Central, North Sargent, and Oaks.
Mm-hmm. So tell us, why do you think it's important for these kids to be learning trades? It seems like in some of the bigger towns, trades are being eliminated. There's not a home ec anymore. There's not a shop class. Tell us the benefits of the trade school.
Well, if you look at our community and look at our area, we're immersed in different trades. And so really providing a solid foundation for a good workforce is really what we're about. And it's hard to find plumbers, it's hard to find electricians, and getting that, I'll say, foot in the door, or getting them exposure to CTE is really important. We have health careers, marketing, culinary, ag, we have automotive, we have a lot of different trades classes that we do offer here in Oaks.
So Randall gave me a tour there the other day, and you also have a greenhouse out there. I was just surprised to see the different things that you guys have.
Our outdoor learning labs are probably one of the strengths, I think, of our facility out there. We have a greenhouse, a high tunnel, and outdoor orchard as well. The orchard, and it's a 73 fruit tree orchard with, I think, 114 fruit shrubs, where the students then prune and take care and maintain that orchard, and then as well as also process those products in our culinary program, making jams, jellies, pies, you name it.
Wonderful. And so how do the kids get here? Do they drive? Do they bus? What does a typical day look like?
A lot of our students typically come over in the morning block, and so the students have to leave their home schools, our outlying schools that are typically about 25 to 30 minutes out, by 8 o'clock. So they show up here in Oaks at 8:30 and are ready to go. And they usually are part of our school day for the first two periods of the day, and then they go back to their home schools, and we provide some remote learning opportunities for them on their transportation, so they can take additional classes on that bus ride. So it's usable time.
Right, so it's not an hour lost in your day, you're actually getting something done.
Correct.
So what is your favorite part of the whole school?
My favorite part of our Career and Tech Ed Center is giving kids hands-on opportunities and just seeing their light or their excitement for finishing a project, making a project, and seeing it come to conclusion.
Great, and I think we need more of that. Okay, so I do want to thank you for being on the show today, and we're going to do a little tour of the school later, so we'll have that as well.
Welcome to the Southeast Region Career and Technology Center's greenhouse here in Oaks. We have greenhouses attached to a lot of our local ag programs facilities, and this is just a great way for the kids to get out here and do hands-on opportunities through propagation, planting, agri-science experiments, all kinds of different cool opportunities for the kids. I know when it comes time to the spring, early spring, we start a lot of plants in here, and it's kind of a cool process because they get to kind of see the evolution of that plant process. And so a lot of times we'll take the plants in here, whether it be tomatoes, peppers, vegetable plants, and we will transplant them out into our high tunnel and outdoor garden, where then the kids care for them and tend for them in the summers, and then harvest those products then in the fall. And so it's kind of a full year process, and it's a nice way to be able to show kids the whole process. And so we definitely talk about agriculture, but there's all kinds of agri-science research projects that the kids utilize the greenhouses for. And we really like utilizing these to really showcase our ag science opportunities within our ag programs. So they're very beneficial, and I think the kids enjoy just being out here. It's uplifting, the oxygen levels are a lot higher, and it's just always fun to be a part of an environment like this. I'd like to welcome you to the culinary kitchen here at the Southeast Region Career Technology Center. This is one of the additions that we just added within the last 2-3 years, and it provides a lot of cooking and culinary opportunities for our students. And so we embed this into our FACS and Family and Consumer Science, as well as our agricultural classes. And so it just provides a lot of different opportunities. So the kids get to see the raw product from farm to table kind of a concept. And so really a fun opportunity for the kids, hands-on and flavorful, because they get to eat their products. Thanks for the visit.
So thanks again, and we'll be right back after this on Ladies of Another View on BAD.
My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Heritage Insurance Services, Bill Schmitz, Farmers Union Insurance, David Bergerman, Oaks Area Chamber of Commerce. My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Quilt and Sew, Sweeten Stories, Emery Vistos Implements. Now you can have the personalized forecast at your fingertips when you need it. Beck's exclusive Weather Insight is information tailored to you. Radar, weather alerts, forecasts, and videos. Download the free Weather on Beck News app. Search your app store now. My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Sunby Family Chiropractic, Seasons of Style, Back to Health PC, Sozo Physical Therapy PC, True Wellness FNP-C. My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by CHI Oaks Hospital and Clinic, Egtegra Co-op of Oaks, Oaks Area Chamber of Commerce. The mission: to provide the customers with integrity, reliable grain markets and services while maintaining a profitable and innovative company. The vision: strive every day to be the best grain handling facility with the most courteous and accurate staff with unmatched customer service. Located in Oaks, North Dakota, James Valley Grain LLC is a grain storage and handling facility that has been serving Southeast North Dakota since 2001. See the James Valley Grain difference today. My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by First Community Credit Union, GQ Clothing and Computer Express, Oaks Thrift and more.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back. We saved the best for last.
Oh, thanks.
We are visiting with Kasha McGill, and you are the director of the Oaks Area Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
Welcome to the show, first of all. But, I came to this community, and it's been fantastic. Very welcoming, warm, friendly people. It's really been an experience. So tell me a little bit about your community.
Well, as you said, our community is fantastic, so I don't know where we go from there, but yes, we are a very diverse community. I mean, I'm part of the chamber, so the businesses are based in ag, but it is diverse. We have manufacturing, we have boutiques, we have an awesome medical facilities with a hospital, pharmacies, nursing home, assisted living. It is a great community that encompasses all those things that you need in rural living.
So, I've been to many of these small towns, and a lot of times Main Street is struggling. Your Main Street is not struggling. I'd have to say that. So what do you think, what sets Oaks aside from other small communities?
Well, and like you said, our Main Street is impressive. We have only 2 buildings that are looking to fill those businesses. But it makes it fantastic that everyone realizes how important it is to support your local community and those businesses here. But I think the other part of that is the businesses are very willing to, maybe you can't find it in the store. Let me see, can I order it for you? Everyone works together to make sure that Main Street looks as good as it does.
It does. And when you say looks, it's not just that you have a Main Street. Your Main Street looks like, it's like a scene out of a postcard. I mean, even the stop signs are fancy, you guys. You have to come to Oaks. Interesting. I saw a family member yesterday, and I said I was going to Oaks today, and she said, "Oh my gosh, they have the best swimming pool."
Yes.
I mean, something that I didn't know, something because it's probably closed this time of year, but tell us about that.
Yes, we had an older swimming pool, and the community got together, again with funding from the city and various entities, and we were able to have a fantastic swimming pool. It is 0 elevation to get in. We have a high dive, low dives, a slide. There is a great little park next to it. I mean, if you are looking to bring your family, that is definitely one of the places that you want to take them in the summer.
During the show today, a couple people mentioned the Noonan House.
Mm-hmm.
That is now a bed and breakfast, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, as Gary and I think Dick both mentioned the Noonan House, and it is 29 rooms. And so right now, if you're having an event in town, a wedding, or you're coming here for Irrigation Days, and you don't want to stay with a family that's here, or you're just visiting, it is a great place. You can rent the whole house. It is, several different levels. Every room is different, and it is a historical part of Oaks. It is a fabulous place to stay.
Great. So what kind of events do you guys have just year round?
Well, Irrigation Days is our big event. That is always the second weekend in June, and it is a very family-focused event here. This year will be a big one. We have the 50th Irrigation Days happening and an all-school reunion. So the town will be bustling, to say the least.
It will.
We have a parade, we have karaoke contests, rodeo, demolition derby, food vendors, kiddie parade, area garage sales through town. It's just 3 days of fun-filled family.
Great. And so anything else that a person can look forward to, like different times of the year? You guys have a lot of duck hunters that come through here too, don't you?
We do. And, the hunting here is a very vital part of the economy. We have waterfowl, pheasant, and there are some lodges that have just currently opened in town and are surrounding little areas here too, but Airbnb is a new one, and the hotel, they're all welcoming to the hunters. Bring your 4-legged friend. They're absolutely part of, the family when you're a hunter, and they're very welcoming for that.
It's interesting you say that, because I did stay at a hotel and it said no pets allowed. However, we do have warm kennels for them in the back. I've never seen that in all my days of traveling. So any other annual events that come up? You guys do things for Halloween. You guys kind of do it all. You guys really do it up big when you're in Oaks.
Well, those events they happen, like you said, Halloween. We had a holiday open house this last weekend. We have the Black Friday, Small Business Saturday. We try and do things, at least if not every 3 months, regularly, so that the businesses have an opportunity to showcase what they have. And you also brings people to town. Maybe they don't know that we have, 4 or 5 different boutiques, or that the hardware carries certain things. We want those people to come to town and see what we have to offer.
I did visit some of those boutiques.
And how did that go for you?
It went very well for me. My checkbook, not so much, but it was fantastic just to find that type of shopping in a small community like this. I would encourage anyone to come to Oaks to find just the shopping alone is unbelievable. But you also have a really cool secondhand store. I mean, I found some really cool things there. And it's just your whole, again, I don't want to repeat myself, but your main street is bustling, and there's like a sandwich shop, there's coffee shop, there's a diner. You guys have it all right here.
And I do. I really believe that's what makes us unique and makes us successful here is, you do have some that overlap, but as you said, you went to several boutiques. Everyone is a little different.
It is.
You don't have many bookstores that are owned and operated independently. We have that here. And so Main Street does offer a very wide variety.
And before we go, I just want to say that you have 2 businesses that are looking for owners.
Yes, we do. We have a bakery that is fully functional. It is a turnkey business. Walk in and, you're ready to bake. We are so looking for a bakery.
And you also had an eye doctor that passed away unexpectedly?
Yes, we are looking for an optometrist. Dr. Rath was a very vital part of our community, and he also serviced some of the outlying communities as well. So definitely looking to fill those 2 spots.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again, Kasha. We really appreciate you sharing Oaks with us. And I hope that you all enjoyed this hometown show coming from Oaks, and we'll see you next time from another location.
My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by Moving Mountains Learning Center, Women's Way, Starion Bank of Oaks. My Hometown of Oaks is brought to you in part by DRN ReadyTech, Novak Electric Incorporated, Economy Oil Incorporated,